Gridiron Grinder! Hut hut hike!
Boom! It is Friday night, Gridiron Grinder time. I'm Ryan. With me, as always, my buddy James. Just a couple dudes hanging out, talking about what's going on in the NFL each week, blah, 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 blah. This is episode 218 of Gridiron Grinder. And for tonight, we're going to kick things off with Name That Stadium. Maybe someone will play, maybe not, whatever. Then we're going to do a recap of the past week. After that, we're going to give you guys our conference championship game picks, and then we'll close it off with question of the week, which I'm trying to come up with as we go tonight. And so, James, with all that being said, how's it going tonight, my man?
It's going all right. How's it going with you? I actually had an idea for question of the week.
Oh, sweet. Well, you can hold it until we get there, or you can spill the beans and I can put a pin in it. Your choice.
I'll send it in the chat and let you know it. You can see if you like it or not.
Okay, in case I want to deny you. No, not good enough. That's my part. I'll probably go with it because I don't have anything else. So, um, but yeah, throw it in the chat. And I guess whenever you're ready, my man, why don't you do a little name that stadium for us?
All right. As everyone can see, traveling around different stadiums that host NFL games. First person guesses right. Nobody does. It's not like it's pointful for me to say this again, but nobody seems to like to anymore. Just fucking play. We'll give you guess right first. We'll give you extra special shout out, bookmark it. You can play it back and forth. Last week, I was at Ford Field, and that's all I really want to say about that. Although I'm going to have to talk about that in a minute, but I'll save that for when we talk about the recap of the past week, because we're going to talk about the fucking games.
I mean, do we have to talk about the games?
Yeah, kind of do, because there's...
We could just talk about the news.
Yeah, but I got some stuff to say on some of the other games, so...
Okay, that's how you want to be. So be it. I guess we'll just move on to the recap of the past week. And James, why don't you just jump right into it?
All right, so we had the Saturday games, and I'm sorry, was it Saturday or was it? No, it was Saturday. The
Kansas
first game
City and Houston was Saturday,
the first
and then
game on Saturday,
Detroit, Washington.
the Houston Texans versus the refs and Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean that's what everybody's talking about, right?
Okay, first of all, how the fuck is it roughing the passer or unsportsmanlike conduct for a late hit if the quarterback is sliding and two Houston players run into each other?
Yeah, it's because they like grazed his helmet in the process.
But they ran into each other. How the
Yeah,
fuck
I
is
did
that?
see what's his name? Chris Long, Howie Long's son that was like the defensive end for the Eagles for a little while.
I thought
He
it was Kyle Long.
I think Kyle was the offensive lineman for the Bears, but either way, I saw him talking to Belichick on, I don't know, ESPN or some shit, and basically he was saying, oh, look at how this works. Mahomes is savvy enough that he knows how to draw out these penalties, and they were like pointing to one where Mahomes slowed down before he was running out of bounds, like just enough so that a defender would hit him, and then they get the flag because he's like right on the edge of going out of bounds, and it's like, he knows he doesn't just go out of bounds. He gets there and he waits for someone to hit him so that he can like, flagrantly make his move and get the flag. And it's like,
okay. So if you're in the field of play, if you are in the field of play,
yes.
I don't give a shit if you are going out of bounds or not.
Correct.
If you are in the field of play, you are fair game. Look at Justin Fields and what Justin Fields would do. He would act like he's going out of bounds, and when they let up, he would cut it up and run inside. Until the player's out of bounds, he should be frickin' fair game.
Correct.
There's a 3rd and 8 on Kansas City's 33-yard line that they didn't get. It was incomplete, but they called Anderson for a roughing the passer that he barely even touched Mahomes. This was a bring your own refs to work day for the Chiefs. That one led to a field goal. The one on Mahomes that was BS, where he was like sliding, led to a touchdown.
Yeah, and it seems like they've been getting a lot of these things in their favor all year. And so I'm not surprised that it's happening. It just, I want to feel
And
good about the Chiefs. I don't want to look at them like they're the bad guy, right? And when they start winning in ways like this, it kind of makes me feel like I felt about the fucking humble pie Patriots, where I'm like, now I want somebody to fucking stomp you because it's just fucking bullshit.
well, they are the absolute luckiest fucking team I have ever seen in professional football.
Yeah, and some of that I'm okay with because, you just get fucking lucky sometimes, but they're having everything go in their favor.
Everything goes right. Like what was it was in the what game was it where they fumbled a punt or a kickoff and it bounced off the back of one player right back to the guy that fumbled it.
Yeah,
They
I vaguely remember what you're talking about. Yeah.
they beat Baltimore because the guy had a size 11 shoe, not a size 10 and a half shoe.
Well, that's tough. You got to get the feet
No,
in bounds, James.
no, you got to get the feet in bounds. But like on the field, it was
Yeah,
called a touchdown. It
I
was
know,
in
but the
review.
replay was
Like that's
clear.
it was not that clear.
It
It was
was clear that the
one
foot
angle.
was on the line.
There was one angle on the entire replay that it looked clear the foot was on the line.
That's
Every
all it
other
takes.
angle,
That's all it takes.
every every other angle on the replay, it looked like you could see
It's not a
green
majority
between the line.
rule, it's a disqualifying rule.
I know it's just like lucky as shit. Like didn't they beat who was it? Was it Washington they beat because no it wasn't
Denver
Washington.
with the field goal
Denver
or whatever.
with the field goal. Like you do everything and then oh we found something
Yeah, they
we
talked about
watched
how
the
they saw it in practice or they saw it in
yeah
the tape and they were practicing it. Yeah.
yeah we
Uh,
found a weakness or let me see what else. Cincinnati game they won because they brought their own refs that game.
yeah, there were a couple bad plays in that game for sure. Yeah, a couple bad calls.
Atlanta, there's two games. There's three games.
Yeah,
There's game.
Atlanta for sure had bad calls. Yep. That's what I'm
Um,
saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm getting bitter about it, is that it's not just luck. It's bullshit. And
yeah.
they're good and they would probably be here
No,
anyhow.
this they would not be here anyhow if it weren't for that. Because the fact this
I
team
think
is not
what
good.
I'm saying is I think they would be in the playoffs anyhow.
They would have
Whether
made
they
the
would have
playoffs.
gotten this far in the playoffs, I don't know, but I still think they would have made the playoffs.
Possibly made the
Dude, they
playoffs.
had 15 fucking wins. Let's just say these things with the refs and whatever shave them down 3 games. They're still in the fucking playoffs.
They're in the playoffs, but they're on the road the entire time.
Okay, yeah, yeah, and that's fine. I'm
No,
just
they
saying,
still won they still would have won their division by one game, possibly.
yeah, and I'm just saying it just it's just the way it's happening. It's like turning them into the enemy in my mind. And it's honestly it's like not even their fault that the refs are doing this for them.
So that's
Unless they're greasing them, dude. Unless they're greasing them, then it is their fault. But we'll probably never know about that.
yeah, it'll come out in the future. Then you
Yeah,
had the
it'll
Commanders.
be
Kudos
like
to
Spygate. It'll be like, oh no, they just fucking straight greased them, and then it'll be like, what the fuck is going on?
yeah, had the Commanders. They beat the Lions. Kudos to the Commanders. They had a good game plan going in.
Yeah,
Goff had an off day, and the Commanders won.
Yeah, and I do want to talk about some of the play calling, you know, and I think this is
Yeah.
going to lead into maybe the question of the week, but I think that Ben Johnson, um, you know, made a very foolish mistake in a critical moment of the game, having
Hmm.
fucking JMO throw a pass.
Uh-huh.
That to me, this is a player that has had very obvious like errors in judgment on and off the field. Why would you trust him in a critical moment like that? That was a mistake.
That was a
Uh,
mistake. There was another one. Um, I think it was like a second down. No, I think it was one of Goff's interceptions where instead of doing a play action, Goff just straight dropped back and he threw an interception.
yeah, and and then defensively with Aaron Glenn, I like him a lot, but man, I just this was the first game we've seen Aaron Glenn, like visibly losing it on the sideline.
Hmm.
And that to me is, hey, dude, you were not prepared for this game because you
Yeah.
had a week off. I know there's a shit ton of injuries, but now you've had that extra week with all these newer guys to game plan for this, man. And I think they were distracted, which we're going to talk about later. So,
Yeah. And you had like it was it was a good game, the Philadelphia Rams game, but like
yeah, and it got exciting at the end too. So it was a really
uh-huh.
good game. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just with that game, I don't have much to say about that game. I don't like nothing really sticks out about about that game. Like
Yeah, it's
Philadelphia,
it's funny how the last couple of years you hear all the shit with Stafford and McVay and Aaron Donald, and eventually Aaron Donald obviously retired, but now all of a sudden they lose, and Stafford's like, I think I still got some good football left in me. Well, what is changing in you when you've been talking about retiring for the last couple of years? All of a sudden now you want to run it back? Like what the fuck's that about? It's just
so
weird,
see,
man.
see, I heard the opposite. I heard Stafford said he's gonna take some time to consider his future.
All right, so I don't know if it's still on NFL.com, but there was one that I read where he was like making a comment about still having some good football in him, and so I don't know, man. Oh, fucking yeah, and so yeah, okay, all right. Well, maybe it changed. Maybe it changed because here we go. The 23rd, yesterday, McVay sees getting clarity sooner than later on Stafford's future as ideal scenario. So maybe he switched a little bit, or maybe they need this. Maybe they need the clarification of I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out. So
Yeah, so I thought I had read that he said, he's going to take some time, consider his future, and I mean, he may have said he thinks he still has some good football in him, but maybe it was like I wanna,
yeah, maybe they just clipped that part of the statement in like a
yeah.
bigger context. Either way, either way. But yeah, so I thought that was a good game. It came down to the end, which was nice. Um, and then yeah, Baltimore and Buffalo, man. I mean, it's like Lamar just can't get over the fucking hump, dude. I thought this could have been the year with Derrick Henry, and it just you know, I mean, Buffalo's on a mission, obviously, and so I don't want
Okay,
to take anything away from them.
so I actually Lamar lost the game for
Yeah, he had
um
that horrible
the Rams.
fumble. It was like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like,
It's not only the horrible fumble, but in part Lamar lost the game, in part the coaches lost the game for him. And you'll have to hear me out on this.
well, Mark
So
Andrews dropped that one touchdown pass. That wasn't
that,
good
that
either.
the, the so so they scored. It wasn't a touchdown. It was a two-point conversion.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
But okay, so so Baltimore scored a touchdown, and to go down 21-19 with over a quarter left.
Okay. Keep talking. Keep talking.
Baltimore went for 2. First of all, why the fuck are you going for 2 there? You're down by 2. Your defense stops them. Like worst case, like if you kick the extra point, kick the extra point there. You go 20. You're down 21-20. Buffalo scores a touchdown. You're still down by 8 points. You go for 2 to tie the game. Like, you don't go for 2 until you have to.
Yeah.
Turns out it ended up, if they would have kicked the extra point, made the extra point on the last touchdown, they would have been able to go kick the extra point. Then on the last touchdown, yes, Andrews dropped the ball, but it was a fucking terrible pass from Lamar.
Yeah, and everybody's hanging Andrews out to dry for it too.
Yes, exactly. Everyone's hanging Andrews out to dry for it, except for the Bills Mafia. The Bills Mafia, after they saw Andrews getting flack for dropping the ball in the 2-point
Come and play in
conversion.
Buffalo next year, buddy. Yeah.
No. Started a GoFundMe. Raised over $100,000 to be donated to some diabetes.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Some diabetes charity that's like near and dear to Andrews' heart.
Yeah.
Because, but if you ask me, it was not his fault.
Okay.
It was the pass was behind, so he was trying to catch the ball like this. He's going straight this way, and he has to turn around and
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Receiver, you get your hands on the ball. Yeah, the
yeah, but he's a tight end, big guy, not as flexible.
Yeah.
Blah blah. In either way, come on. Yeah, I know what you
mean. Bad throw, and that's not even counting the fumble and interception that Lamar threw.
Yeah, he put him behind. Yeah. In a game where you know you got to play basically flawless football.
Mm-hmm. The fumble was the worst of them.
Yeah, that was a horrible fumble, dude.
Yeah, like I don't even know. Like I don't remember what the fuck happened.
Yeah, it's like he had some pressure in the pocket and was just like trying to make something happen, and just like the way he like tried spinning around out of the pocket, the ball just like popped right out of his hand. It was like, dude, oh no, it was bad, man.
It was because they were in like basically field goal range. Again, you don't fumble there, you get the field goal. You don't have to go for 2.
Yep.
You kick the extra point, you have the lead. Then you're down by 6. You score the touchdown, kick the extra point, you win the game. Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
There's a direct correlation between these mistakes and the team losing the game.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, hey, for as electric as Lamar has been, it just at some point you got to wonder, is he ever going to get over the hump? And
I think he will.
I think, for Baltimore, I don't know that you can do anything about it. I don't think you can trade him. I don't think you can change your coaching staff. It's like everything is the way it needs to be. It's just not happening.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So that's the games.
All right.
Then let's first go to the first coaching hire I want to talk about.
Pete Carroll?
No.
Oh, all right.
It's
Shitbag Johnson?
No. Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's a weird one. Tell me about that.
So I'm looking up what his first name is. Liam Cohen.
Liam
Liam
Cohen.
Cohen, the offensive coordinator for the Buccaneers, was basically pulled himself out of contention for the Jacksonville Jaguars head coaching job.
Yeah, he's like, hey, you're not taking me seriously. I'm out. And then they fucking sucked him right back in, James.
What I think happened, and I think he called, instead of calling fucking what's his first name? What's Balky's first name? Trent.
Yeah, Trent Baalke, the GM that is no longer there.
Yeah, Trent Baalke. I think he, instead of calling Baalke and telling him, I think he called Shad
Shad
Khan
Khan.
and told him, look, I can't
Fuck this guy.
I can't work for Baalke.
Yeah. So Khan said, okay, he's out,
Khan
you're in.
said, okay, he's out.
We'll find a new GM.
And as soon as they found a new GM, and all the reports were that Cohen had signed a massive extension to stay on as the offensive coordinator, like making him like the highest paid offensive coordinator in the history of the league.
He was in a great spot with Tampa Bay, man.
With Tampa Bay. Then, all of a sudden, word is Tampa Bay couldn't find Cohen. They were trying to call him. He wasn't returning his calls, calls, because he was back in Jacksonville interviewing,
negotiating the deal.
And then it became official like a day and a half later because the Jacksonville Jaguars had to do the perfunctory, which I didn't realize this. If you have a head coaching or GM vacancy, you have to conduct 2 in-person interviews with minority candidates before you can hire somebody.
And yeah, I remember them saying something about that with the Cowboys just the other week, and that they were saying that's why they thought it was taking so long for the Cowboys to make a decision, which, I mean, I don't know. I don't know that anybody can get into the mind of Jerry Jones and why the Cowboys do what the Cowboys do, but they were making that claim that they hadn't checked those boxes yet.
Last week or the week before, they checked those boxes. They interviewed.
So it must have been right before that, then. Yeah.
It was like 2 weeks ago. Like they had checked those. When did they?
Yeah. So like the Dion thing, when this happened, they hadn't met with him in person yet, and then I don't even know, dude. I don't even know. So, but like they were basically saying, oh well, they can't just go and bring Kellen Moore back and hire him because they haven't satisfied the Rooney Rule or whatever, however to say it. My brain's not working.
So I had read, it was a column about this, and I kind of agree with this guy's column, but I don't want to turn off any of our 6 viewers. I'll tell you afterwards.
No, and I'm all for, the Rooney Rule in a certain respect, but we're going to talk about sort of the sequence of how this plays out in the NFL later on, and where I think some of it is fucked up and affects teams negatively. But yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get there, and I can tell you the perfect example of a team that it fucked. Okay, so as part of this article, this guy was talking about how Jacksonville was interviewing Patrick Graham for their head coaching job. At the same time, they were hammering out the details of Cohen's contract with him.
Gotcha.
Also, so
multitasking, James.
Yeah, multitasking. But interesting part was the columnist was talking about how there was a head coach that he knew the person, he was promoting a person on his staff to a coordinator position, but had to interview 2 external minority candidates
for a coordinator spot.
for coordinator.
Oh, I didn't see. I didn't realize that it. I thought that rule was just for the head coaches.
No,
I,
head
you
coach,
know,
coordinator, GM.
I figured there was, like something for the other spots, but I didn't realize it was like that same thing. I thought it was maybe like a watered down version of it or something.
Yeah, and like this one, I actually, I want to know who this coach is, but because I respect the shit out of this head coach.
Okay.
He knew who he was going to promote, but he had to check the box. So he was calling minority candidates agents, telling them up front,
Yeah.
I know who I'm hiring. I have to check the box. I will do a normal interview as if um they're up
Like
for the
actually a
job,
real
like
candidate. Yeah.
actually like they're a real candidate, to give them the practice
Yeah.
for their next interview if your client will come in and interview with me. And
Yeah.
I respect the shit out of that.
Gotcha.
But I mean, then this year you had the Patriots who fucking played the everyone and their mother knew that Vrabel was being hired at the Patriots,
Yeah.
but they brought in had to fly in Byron Leftwich and Pep Hamilton for interviews, even though Vrabel was going to be the coach. And that's why, like, Ben Johnson, like, it took a day because they had to complete the Rooney Rule. Um, and the New Orleans is the team that got fucked.
Okay.
Because New Orleans, with the snowstorm in New Orleans, they were stuck there. They couldn't fly anybody in. Their top candidate for their job, the person they wanted, was Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, but I heard Aaron Glenn wanted the Jets all day.
But they didn't even get a chance to sit down with Aaron
Yeah,
Glenn
try to pitch him.
and try to pitch him or offer him a contract because
Yeah.
they had to.
Yeah, and he had ties there too, so you never know. They could have maybe come up with something, right?
Yeah. So let's say, and then it was Friday. The top candidate, because they couldn't do it, but there was one I was looking for where.
So where are we at right now with hires? Because
We have two, I believe.
so Pete Carroll just
Pete
got
Carroll's
hired by the
to,
Raiders,
to the Raiders.
Vrabel to the
Ben Johnson,
Patriots,
Vrabel to the
Ben
Patriots.
Johnson to
Ben
the
Johnson
Bears, and Liam Cohen to the Jags, and then Aaron
and
Glenn to the
Glenn
Jets.
to the
So you
Jets. So
got
that
one
just
out of five as a
New,
minority.
yes, but now,
Yeah, and I don't think you could deny Ben Johnson. I don't think you could even
but right
deny
now,
Liam Cohen.
but also right now, almost a quarter of the league's head coaches are minorities. You're
Yeah,
currently at 7 head coaches in the league that are minorities.
yeah, yeah, and I think it's I think that this is a cycle where you can't force it because Ben Johnson obviously was ready. Liam Cohen ran one of the best offenses in the league with fucking Baker Mayfield.
Hmm.
Mike Vrabel had a year off to let everybody know I'm not in any hurry. I'm waiting for the right opportunity. Pete Carroll, that's one where I wonder. It's like, what does he have left at this point? I don't know. But maybe that's kind of like the Brady thing where Brady was
But
talking about
wait, wait,
how
wait, wait.
they
Pause it.
needed a
Pause it. Pause
Belichick-like
that. What
coach.
happened? But go back to Joe Gibbs when Joe Gibbs came back. How old was Joe Gibbs when his second sit with the
Yeah, yeah,
Redskins, and he won the fucking Super Bowl?
yeah. No, and dude, I like Pete Carroll as a head coach. I do like him a lot. I'm just saying, like, in terms of like the Rooney Rule and maybe, like, is there a better candidate? Um, I have a hard time arguing Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen, or Mike Vrabel. Pete Carroll, I think that's maybe the one that has a crack in it where you could say, could you say maybe somebody else should have been in that? But but I don't know who. I think this is a weird cycle for minority candidates, is I guess what I'm getting at.
Yeah. So, according to sources of this person, which I have not verified because I don't have the same sources as a person that professionally writes about the NFL. 5 of the 7 teams interviewed either Ron Rivera or Robert Saleh to check the box to satisfy the Rooney Rule.
Gotcha.
No intentions of ever hiring
Yeah,
them.
just to get it done. And that's
And
the problem. If that's how the rule is going to be applied, then it just needs to go away, you know, and they need to come up with something different than that. And
yeah,
so I don't
and
know what it is, but you know, it's obviously ineffective if that's how it's being applied.
yeah, and you mentioned Ben Johnson. Of any team that I would think would be let slack on for the Rooney Rule, and oh well, you didn't give them a shot. It's the Chicago Bears. President of the Bears is African American. According to what I'm reading, they have the most diverse senior staff in the NFL.
Yeah.
General manager is African American.
Yeah, I just don't think you can deny a talent like Ben Johnson is what
Yeah.
I was saying.
No, I know, but like I'm just saying like even denying a talent, like even if you want to throw shade at it, like okay, the Bears, and plus
Yeah, it sounds like
they're
they're doing a very good job otherwise anyhow.
they're this at the end of the season, their coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and special teams coordinator were all black.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, James, at the end of the day, really, like, I think the goal is it's not about racism. It's about giving everybody equal opportunity and developing everybody equally so they get those opportunities. And, you know, maybe more of the focus needs to be on the development side of it than like the opportunity side of it, right? Like, don't force the opportunity, make, you know, force the development. I guess maybe that's the way I'm looking at it. It's like if if you're forcing the opportunities and that's still messed up, try forcing the development, because if there's a minority coach that has like the Ben Johnson resume, he will
Mm-hmm.
not be denied.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like look at the Eric Bieniemy thing. The knock on him was that, oh, great offensive coordinator, but well, you know, Andy Reid really still calls all the plays, right? And so it's like, well, it's like it's not the same as what I'm saying. It's not the same as a Ben Johnson. Give me the Bieniemy
Right.
version of Ben
And
Johnson.
and Bieniemy, after he left the Chiefs, struggled as an offensive
Yeah.
coordinator.
And I don't want to call him out specifically, but I'm just going back to put it on the development. Develop these guys and they will get those opportunities. But like obviously if you're forcing them into these roles or trying to force them into these roles, you're getting resistance and that's not working. If you develop them in a way that they can become Ben Johnsons, they're not going to be denied, man, because at the end of the day, these clubs want the best fucking talent possible.
Mm-hmm. And
Or
and
maybe I'm
well,
stupid for wanting to believe that. I don't know.
I know I believe that too. Like you're the the best. There's a couple of quotes from this column that I think are right on. And the first quote is, "We know how close or far away a team is from making a decision based on what racial background just walked through the door. What if they're interviewing, if they're bringing in 2 minority coaches, again, they have a decision already. If they're
Yeah, they're
basically,
just checking boxes, is what you're
yeah,
saying.
and it says, and he says, and this is what he says: by and large, the teams are going to hire the person they want to hire, and everything else is just a speed bump.
Gotcha. Yeah. So go at it a different way. Focus more on development.
But the problem that he's pointing out with the Rooney Rule is the last quote, and it's a full. I'm going to read the full paragraph.
Yeah.
Qualified candidates from diverse backgrounds must constantly wonder whether they are getting Rooneyed. Perhaps sadder, sometimes they know that is the case, yet believe they are so uniquely talented that they can convince the decision makers to change their mind.
Yeah.
Which
they're getting a false opportunity.
They're getting a false opportunity.
And they're doing it anyhow because they're hoping that they'll find a way to break through that false opportunity.
Yeah. And then
yeah, no, that sucks. I don't know. That kind of fucking pisses me off, to be honest, but it's a fucking sad part of it, right?
It is. So, and it's when he talks about coaches, minority coaches, and he says within the past year, minority prospects have called him, who they had been requested for a head coach interview, called the writer of this article, asking whether this person thought they were getting Rooneyed. And this time this candidate was being Rooneyed. And so he planned, the writer didn't know, he planned on turning down the interview, but the ownership convinced him that it was a real interview.
Okay.
But it wasn't.
Yeah.
So if you're just going in to check the box, that's not the intent behind the Rooney Rule.
No, not at all, man. Not at all.
I think there's like, and I agree with the person that wrote this article. I think there's something they have to do, and that's a possibility is going to like, you know, the development side, but also like last year, like, so when you have like this year, which had a very low minority hire at head coach, you compare that to last year where half the vacancies were minorities. Half the vacancies were filled by minorities.
Yeah, and so that's a good cycle, right? This is like a good, bad, maybe the wrong terminology. I would say that was like like an up part of the cycle. This year we're seeing a down part of the cycle where, you know, the people that just seemingly, you know, like appear to be more qualified and better are not minorities, and so it's going to get negative attention because of that. But what I'm trying to say is you can't look at it as a black and white thing that it has to be done because a guy like Ben Johnson cannot be denied. And that's what I'm getting at. You know, it's that if there's a minority version of Ben Johnson and he's being denied, then we got a fucking problem. But if there's a minority version of Ben Johnson, I want to know who it is. And probably all these other clubs that have openings want to know who he is, right? So, I don't know.
So this year, of the potential candidates that I've seen, almost besides Aaron Glenn, I can't think of one minority candidate that wasn't recently a head coach in the NFL and failed.
Yeah.
And you give it, maybe it's not situation like Saleh and the Jets, that was just a bad situation. But still, like, you know, Saleh, Leslie Frazier.
Yeah, I would love to see Saleh come to Detroit as defensive coordinator, but that's probably not going to happen, even though he's from Dearborn. You know, to me, it's, hey, dude, these openings are drying up. Do you
Mm-hmm.
really want to sit out a year, or do you want to come in and help a club that has Super Bowl aspirations in your hometown?
But
Ah,
Sal,
but
but
it's not.
Salah, like if Salah sits out a year, I think Salah is still being played. He's paid by the Jets for another 2 years.
Okay, but still, come on, man. Come and have an impact somewhere,
Yeah,
because the colder you get, the harder it is to get that job.
true. This is true.
And I don't think Salah's like lighting the world on fire as a head coach opportunity. I like him. I think he's an amazing defensive coordinator. I'm hard pressed to believe that he's going to get a head coaching job before he has to go down and be a defensive coordinator again.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And that has nothing to do with him being a minority, right? Like that's just the way the NFL works. It's the results need to be there, and if they're not, you're going to get punished for it. And so, you know, but he could flourish as a defensive coordinator and then get another opportunity.
Yeah, and in other coaching news, the Lions lost another coach to Chicago. They lost Antoine Randall.
Ah, fuck, man. No shit. I thought we were going to hang on to him. I actually thought he might have gotten promoted to be
Mm-hmm.
offensive coordinator, which I was kind of like intrigued to see how that might play out. But uh, that's okay. That's okay.
So that's what, 5 coaches that have gone now because we lost offensive line coach or defensive line coach to be the defensive coordinator in New England. Lost both coordinators, Randall L. and one other coach.
So I did hear that they're talking to Larry Foote about possibly coming in to run the defense, which
Hmm.
would be interesting. The
What recognize that name?
longtime Steelers linebacker,
Yes. I'm thinking.
Michigan native. Um, that would be interesting, but I don't know enough about what he's been doing on the coaching front.
I don't think he's been doing much.
Yeah, see, I'm just going to have faith in Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes because they got us here. They obviously got some magic working here.
So let me see. He assistant linebacker coach in Arizona, linebacker coach in Arizona, out, outside linebacker coach. Huh? He's currently the pass game coordinator and inside linebacker coach for Tampa Bay. The was to the pass game
Yeah, it seems
coordinator.
like an odd mix. I mean,
Yeah.
I do like him under Todd Bowles because you're getting a defensive mastermind to learn from.
Hmm. And let's see, the Patriots are set to, I don't know if they've announced it, made it official, but they're going to hire
Josh McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels back. He's a good offensive
I
coordinator.
suspected that that could happen, right? I thought that maybe he ends up back there because I heard about the connection with him and Vrabel. I thought the alternative was that if the Raiders ended up breaking Belichick's North Carolina contract, maybe.
Wait. Belichick has not signed the North Carolina contract.
What? Dude, he's doing all sorts of press
He has
conferences
not.
and shit.
He has not signed the contract. The contract has not been signed and returned to North Carolina. So the buyout doesn't exist until the contract's signed.
Wow, that's messed up, man. Well, and his opportunities have pretty much dried up, so he might as well sign that shit.
Yeah. Also, the Texans fired their offensive coordinator Slowick.
Yeah.
But back to McDaniels, like when this weekend, did you see the pregame show? I forget if it was the Saturday or Sunday pregame. I forget which one it was. But in the pregame show, Gronk was up there and he was imploring Vrabel to go out, hire McDaniels as your coordinator. You won't regret it.
Well,
I don't want to end on this note.
so don't.
Yeah, because I don't really know who this guy is.
Oh, one of those. Okay.
So
Well, you might as well do it, and then we'll find something else to close on.
No, because I don't know who the guy is. So
Okay.
it's not
Okay.
worth mentioning. Not that it's not worth mentioning, but it's not.
Not worth souring the moment.
Yeah, it's not worth souring the moment.
I did see that the Colts brought in Lou Anarumo from Cincinnati, which was interesting. And then what was it? The Notre Dame defensive coordinator. Where did he end up in the NFL? He got hired by somebody, which was weird because they just got fucking torched by Ohio State. But very well respected otherwise, I guess. Did he
You
go to
said that.
Cincinnati? And
You said,
Anarumo's out and he's in, or did he go somewhere else?
who's their defensive coordinator?
Oh, so it's all right here with Belichick. They're saying as of yesterday, he has officially signed his contract.
I'm trying to remember who their. You said defensive coordinator?
From Notre Dame, yeah.
Oh, I can't even find the fucking coaching stat. Here we go. Player. No, not what I want.
Yeah, the Bengals hired him. Al Golden.
Never even heard of him.
No biggie.
Oh, I would have had to go to the 2025 Notre Dame Fighting Irish, not football team, not the 2024, because the 2024 doesn't fucking list the coaches.
Gotcha.
Oh, and I just found on the 2024 where the coaches are fucking listed.
All right, so that's the news then, I suppose, James. I guess why don't you take us over to the conference championship game picks, my man?
So this past week, you and I got
Split.
50-50, got 2 right, 2 wrong. Lucky for you, I changed to Baltimore. Otherwise, it might be almost an insurmountable hole.
Let me tell you something real quick. So there have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games, right? And out of those 10 games, you have gotten what?
7 right.
7? And I've gotten 5. I'm doing horrible.
Yeah.
My kid was in a freaking bracket at school. He's 10 for 10 right now.
Your kid fucking picked the Lions to lose?
The little shit picked the Lions to lose, man.
That motherfucker.
Yeah. He knows. The family's hating on him, dude. I give him Charlie's, like little Charlie horses every time I wake him up, man. I'm like, I'm gonna get you. And I don't do it hard, but hard enough that he knows he messed up, even though he's 10 for 10.
Yeah. So this past week, both you and I got our most confident and our least confident picks wrong. We both ended up with 9 points. I'm ahead 25-18 going into championship weekend.
Yep, you're in the catbird seat, motherfucker. And so as per usual, like we did at the end of the regular season, you had to give your picks to me because you're in the lead and I'm in desperation mode, right? And so, the picks that you're going to receive on my end aren't necessarily reflective of the picks that I would make, They're just reflective of my dire attempt to get back in it.
So I'm going to tell you this flat out: whoever wins the NFC, I'm going to pick for the Super Bowl. You don't even have to wait for my pick.
Okay,
Whoever wins the NFC is who I'm going to pick for the Super Bowl. I'll get into that in a minute.
sure.
But first up, we have the Commanders at the Philadelphia Eagles. And this is where I will get into that comment. This is the third time in NFL history. I'm sorry. This is the fifth time in NFL history that the championship game was between two NFC East teams. The last two times it happened, the winner of this game won the Super Bowl. That was the 1982 Washington Redskins and the 1986 New York Giants.
Okay.
For this game, I kind of looked at the history and how the season went. And early in the season, the Eagles won in Week 6. Week 6 was it? No.
And then Washington got them.
And then Washington got them with Hurts injured. Hurts is coming into the game injured, probably going to wear a knee brace from what I'm reading.
Yeah, Washington got them by 3 with Kenny Pickett at quarterback.
The last 3 games Washington has played as an underdog, they have won outright. The refs for this game, so this is going to be a penalty fest. The refs for this game tied for third most. I'm sorry, the referee, Sean Hockley, is the referee for this game. He threw 10 flags against Washington, 2 for roughing the passer in Week 15. And in Week 6, against the Browns for the Eagles, he threw 5 flags against Philadelphia, once for roughing the passer. Seems a little lopsided there, buddy. Seemed biased against the Washington Commanders. But he's thrown the third most rough flags for roughing the passer this season at 9.
Okay.
I think so. 2 years ago, you had a rookie quarterback that was having a phenomenal season go into Philadelphia. Was it 2 years ago or was it 3 years ago? Go into Philadelphia and get hurt. And then the backup quarterback got hurt, and that's the only reason why the Eagles made the Super Bowl. Talking about San Francisco. That was 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
With Brock Purdy. Difference here is, and it's the only reason why the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl. If Purdy wouldn't have gotten hurt, the Eagles were going to lose that game. This Philadelphia team is not even close to as good as that Philadelphia team. Not even as close to as good. And they didn't win the Super Bowl. They lost the Super Bowl, but that's neither here nor there. They made it to the Super Bowl is what I was trying to say.
Sure.
I don't think this Eagles team is as good as people think they are. I think Jaden Daniels knows how to beat the Eagles team and has the confidence for beating the Eagles team based on the fact that he just beat them 3 weeks, like a month ago.
Yeah, a month ago.
And even though the Eagles, let me verify that. I
Sure.
have this stat, and I want to make sure.
Oh,
So the Eagles are 9-1 at home this season, including playoffs. Their first, they lost to the Falcons in week 2.
okay.
Won their last 9 games at home, 10 games at home. 2 playoff games, 8 games in the regular season, 9 games. Because technically their first home game was in Brazil. Okay, that's why. So I think Washington goes in there and wins. And I say I think because I'm least confident about this game, even though who I picked for even though I don't really like who I picked for the other game.
Sure.
I'm least confident in this game, and so I'll give it a 5.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give it a 5 too, my man, but I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. And for, I guess, purposes of having some narrative uh, otherwise, I guess I will say this. NFL.com has the Eagles as the number 1 ranked defense and the number 2 ranked rushing offense. And so even though they are very anemic in passing this year, 29th, that's so abysmal. Oh my gosh, man. I do love the combination of a great defense and running game deep in the playoffs, especially when it's going to be in Philly, where you never know what you're going to get with the weather. It's probably going to be cold. I don't know if it's going to be snowing there or not. Who the fuck knows? Either way, um, I think that could help Philly. The one thing is, I do want to be cautious because, like last week against the Rams, big play Slay showed up, who obviously knows Matt Stafford very well. Are we going to get that same kind of swagger out of Slay against Jaden Daniels? I don't know. Only time will tell. I'm picking Philly. I will say this. If I wasn't picking Philly, I would love to see Washington go all the way at this point because it's been an amazing story. Jaden Daniels and that team, what they've done this year. Eckler's been great. Brian Robinson been a great running back by committee guy. McLaurin, he kind of stopped complaining because he's got a real quarterback. Zach Ertz kind of having a renaissance type season. And the defense, obviously, with Dan Quinn, been playing great. And so, I like everything we're seeing out of Washington. But obviously, for the purposes of our game picks here, I am going Philly. And I do think Philly has a legitimate chance. So, it's not like I'm crying about having to make this pick. I just, I got to go the other way.
All right, then we have the Chiefs. I'm sorry.
Yes, the
The
chefs.
Bills. The Bills at the Chiefs. And I wanted to look something up.
Look it up, Buttercup.
Wow, they. Okay, why the fuck? I wanted to look up the Chiefs' turnover stats because it feels to me that the Chiefs have been basically winning by position. Is this all offense? Scoring, total points, total touchdowns, first down. Why the fuck?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I just pulled up on NFL.com and the turnover ratio is fucked up. turnover plus or minus leaders. Let's see. Kansas City Chiefs are 10th with they are +6 on turnovers. That doesn't seem like a lot. The Bills are +24.
Only +24?
Yeah.
Let me do the math. 8. They're +27.
I mean, I'm looking at Fox Sports because that's what I had to pull up.
Including the playoffs.
Okay.
So the
Yeah,
Bills,
this is just regular season.
Including the playoffs, the Bills have committed the fewest turnovers in the league at 8. And they also have the league high for takeaways at 35. And then you have the Chiefs who have, you said it was +4?
Oh, fuck, I already closed it.
So they're +2 on interceptions. And
+6 in the regular season. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
+11. What?
They got 5 on Houston.
Oh, -4. +4 and +2. So yeah, +6. So they have it was reversed.
Oh
so
my God, Cleveland -22. That's funny.
Oh,
Sorry.
I saw something about the nominees for the league's least valuable player award, and who was right on top of the list, Deshaun Watson.
Oh yeah.
So it just feels like the Chiefs have that opportune turnover that they get, and Buffalo does. I can't believe Buffalo has only turned the ball over 8 times. That's ridiculous.
Pretty fucking sweet.
I think 6 of them are Allen interceptions. So I think Josh Allen had 6 interceptions this season.
Okay.
That's crazy, though. That's only, including playoffs, it's only fucking 8.
Yeah, that's low.
Yeah. So of those turnovers, 7 of them were committed fumble loss. Okay, in the regular season, they didn't lose a single fumble. No, they lost 2. It says 2, but who lost it? Like 0, 0. Who the fuck lost the fumble if everyone's listed as 0?
It's a good question.
Okay, so there's 4 people not listed on the list. Okay, that's why. Okay, anyways, or 4 fumbles not listed. Anyways, I don't really like my pick for this, but the Chiefs bring their own refs, and like I will tell you next, because we have to skip next week because of work. In 2 weeks, if the Chiefs win this game, and there's a lot of fucking roughing the passer on called on Buffalo, I am gonna go fucking off on how the Chiefs are paying the officials. Clete Blakeman, the ref for this game. Well, first of all, Mahomes and Allen are 4-4 against each other. Mahomes is 3-0 in the playoffs, 1-4 in the regular season. The Clete Blakeman, the referee for this game, has reffed 12 Mahomes games in the NFL. Mahomes is 6-6 in games reffed by Clete Blakeman. Clete Blakeman's crew led the league in flags per game at 18.1.
Okay.
But tied for the second fewest flags for roughing the passer this season at 3.
Okay.
This is why if the Bills are all of a sudden getting called for roughing the passer, I'm just gonna fucking
Yeah, the fix is in.
The fix is fucking in. I don't really like it because I wanted to root against Kansas City. I just want to see something because
Sure.
I've seen the Allen Mahomes rivalry likened to the Peyton.
Yeah, Brady, Manning.
Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. So this will be the 4th time they met in the playoffs. Manning was 3-2 against Brady in the playoffs.
Okay.
But it took, I believe, if I remember, oh, Manning was 3-2. 3 of the games happened where Manning was home. The home quarterback won in the Manning Brady rivalry in the playoffs. Interesting. I was just curious about that.
Okay.
So Manning was 1-0, 2-0. So played each other 17 times. Manning was blah blah blah. Four of their 5 matchups were in the AFC Championship game. So Manning didn't beat. So 2003, 2004, he lost, broke through in 2006, and then won the last 3. I was curious about that. I've seen it likened to that. I don't think it is that. I think it's different.
It's a different animal.
It's a different animal.
Whoa, shit. Whoops. Sorry.
I don't really like it, but the Chiefs are buying the refs off anyways, so they're doing whatever it takes to get that 3rd in a row. Even though I won't pick them to win the Super Bowl, even though I will not pick them to win the Super Bowl, I'm picking the Chiefs to beat the Bills in a close game, and I'll give it my 6, even though I want to root against the Chiefs.
Okay.
All fucking day.
Well, that's fine. I'll take Buffalo in this game because I don't know. I don't feel like you're pigeonholing me that hard to take Buffalo because obviously Buffalo's been on a mission this year, and I still think if they don't get to the fucking Super Bowl, Sean McDermott's getting fired. And so I think these guys are going to play their fucking balls off in this game. And I think for Josh Allen, he knows he's got to find a way to fucking beat Mahomes in the playoffs, or it's always going to fucking haunt him. And so we're looking at the 10th ranked offense in Buffalo in the 17th ranked defense against the 16th ranked offense in the 9th ranked defense. These guys are like kind of like flipped, and none of them are like outstanding when you look at the NFL.com stats. But like you pointed out earlier, Buffalo has been phenomenal at not turning the ball over, and Josh Allen has scored a ton of fucking touchdowns this year. Mahomes and company have been lagging on offense. Um, Typically, I would prefer the defense to win, but in this game and in these personal circumstances of needing to get some points on you, I'm going Buffalo.
All right, so that's the game picks. It's a short segment. I dragged it out a little bit, hemming and hawing on a couple things, but
You
I
sure
guess we're
did.
on to a question of the week.
Yeah, and James, I like your question of the week, which you were so kind as to send it to me in the chat. And so, because you were such a gentleman and a scholar, how about you propose the question, my man?
All right, so our question of the week, and it deals with these coaching interviews. Should the NFL delay the coaching hiring window or interview schedule until after the playoffs end? And since I came up with the question, I obviously have an answer to this question. And my answer is, fuck yes, they should. You look at the Lions, and both their coordinators interviewed for head coaching opportunities prior to the game on Saturday. I don't know when they interviewed or whatever. You look at the Commanders, who Kingsbury was a sought after coordinator to interview for head coaching positions, and he said no. I'm not gonna interview until after my team's done.
Yeah, I'm still getting paid by Arizona, and there's no reason for me to, yeah.
Possibly cutting himself off for a chance of getting
Jacksonville maybe, or who knows.
Jacksonville, or I mean, granted, Dallas is still open and Buffalo may come open still. But you take this game in isolation, and it happens every year where one of these offensive coordinators or defensive coordinators is interviewing for head coaching positions while their team's still in the playoffs, and their team, if you look at the Lions team did not look ready. You look at the Commanders' offense. I don't know who the defense coordinator is for the Commanders, but you look at the Commanders.
No, but Dan Quinn's calling defense, so yeah, I mean, I know what you mean.
You look at the Commanders' offense, and that offense was ready. Kingsbury was ready for the game.
Yeah.
Well, the Lions coordinators weren't, because
clearly off. Yeah.
They were clearly off, and it started me wondering if.
Well, yeah, maybe you shouldn't fucking interview with like 7 teams while you're preparing for a fucking playoff game.
Exactly. If the interview schedule.
It was obviously a factor.
And it was a factor. And I think also, and I wanted to look it up, because last year, going into the San Francisco game, I think Ben Johnson interviewed for head coaching positions, and the Lions offense didn't look as buttoned up last year in the San Francisco game. So I think it's a definite 100% definite distraction on these coaches, and they should be allowed to focus on the job they have at hand, and not worry about their next job or trying to find their next job when they clearly, both Glenn, with the job they did in Detroit, both Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson deserve head coaching jobs.
Yeah.
But I think the interview schedule distracted them from their current job. And I'm not saying it caused the Lions to lose, because that is a bold statement, but I think it was a contributing factor to the Lions' loss. And if the NFL were to come out and say, no coaching interviews until after the playoffs are done. Because what are you really going to do if you hire the coach January 6th or if you hire the coach February 14th? What are you really going to accomplish in that month
Yeah. A
for your
month
team?
of
A
scouting and
month of
figuring out how
scouting?
you're tweaking the team, and yeah.
Right, right. But that's why you have a fucking scouting department.
Yeah,
That's
but they
why.
might go too in that month, right? So,
Right, I'm just saying. I think the interviews for head coaching jobs should be delayed because it's the head coach itself is not gonna having him a month early is not gonna affect the team earlier is not gonna affect the team the following season.
yeah.
With the exception of like a couple teams, most of these teams, like Seattle, like Washington, you could kind of see they were almost there, but they weren't quite there. Um, but the majority of these teams that are getting new coaches are on have a lot of building to do, have a lot of issues. Maybe a team like the Jets is an example where like you just need a player here or there, but it's not going to do anything hiring Glenn
Yeah, in that month.
this week. No, that's not even a month. It's 2 weeks because
Yeah.
they hired Glenn this week. 2 weeks from now, the
Yeah, you're
season will be over. They're not going to get shit done in 2 weeks.
right. James, I'm with you, man. I'm with you, and it's not because I'm biased for the Lions. I have felt this way for a long time. It is a disadvantage to a team that is trying to win the ultimate goal in the NFL. And to me, if you're a shitty team and you don't make the playoffs, or you are a team that loses out early in the playoffs, part of your punishment should be that you have to fucking wait. It's because you were not good, now you're being punished and you have to wait. And guess what? In that time, get all your goddamn ducks in a row. Figure out who the fuck you want to interview and get ready to maximize your potential to pitch them on coming to your team. But I think it's like the NFL has a goddamn salary cap, which we talked about fake cap, but it's supposed to put everybody on the same playing field. Okay, if you want to put them on the same playing field, have a coaching hiring restriction where nothing happens until after the Super Bowl, because then everybody's on the same playing field. Which, by the way, like you pointed out, and like I was saying, fucking Sean McDermott might be gone. Nobody knows. Wait until after the Super Bowl and all those chips fall, and then everybody can make the same fucking case to go after their guys. And so
Yeah,
to me, it's
and
just bullshit, man. We obviously as Lions fans got the fucking raw end of the fucking deal here because our two coordinators very clearly were fucking distracted, and it fucking very clearly put us at a disadvantage. We're not the first team to have to go through that, but it sucks when it happens. And like
mhm.
you said, with Washington, it doesn't matter for Kingsbury because fucking Arizona's still paying him, and he's got reason to fucking just keep plugging along. And we didn't have that, okay? And so it's like, put everybody on the same fucking playing field. That's the whole point
but
of all the fucking CBA and all this bullshit. We're trying to get everybody on the same playing field to maximize competition. This part of the game is fucking flawed. We need to fix it.
right, but also, and you brought up a good point. Like McDermott still might be fired. Both you and I think that if he doesn't make the Super Bowl, he's getting the axe.
Yeah.
And if you're Ben Johnson, would you like to know that before you accepted the job with the Bears?
Fuck yeah.
Because I would much rather coach Josh Allen, a proven quarterback, than a quarterback that has to prove himself. Still,
Yeah. So it would help the candidates too.
exactly.
Yeah, no,
Who knows?
I'm
Maybe
bitter
that's
about it, dude.
Kingsbury. Maybe that's going to be Kingsbury's landing
And,
spot.
and and honestly, and it goes the other way. It could help a guy like Sean McDermott, right? Because now he's getting fired knowing that there's 8 openings instead of fucking one or two.
Hmm.
And maybe those teams that already filled were thinking, Holy fuck, I never knew Sean McDermott would get axed. And so it could go every way. But if you gotta wait to fucking do it, and then you can start the carousel. If you start the carousel early, half of the people aren't on, half the people aren't off. It's all fucked up, man.
Breaking news.
John
Breaking
McDermott
news.
got fired before the
No,
game.
no,
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 that'd be crazy.
no. Breaking news. The Cowboys have hired their coach,
Bill Belichick. Oh,
Brian
he just signed
Schottenheimer.
with North Carolina. Huh?
Brian Schottenheimer.
What?
Robert Saleh is going back to the 49ers to become the defensive coordinator.
Well, I like that. I like that. Schottenheimer in Dallas, I think, is gonna fail.
I think so too.
But I hope the best for him. I'm not a fan. I'm just gonna say it. I don't think he's done anything on the edge. I think he's been like an average or a little bit above average, but fairly plain vanilla guy. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that I don't know. Maybe we'll see like some leadership characteristics or something that I haven't seen in the past, and maybe change my mind. But my gut my gut is telling me that is a very underwhelming hire.
It is. Is that all the coaching positions are filled now?
Trying to think. I thought there was one left. Other than that. No, that might be it, right? Because the Raiders got filled earlier today.
Yeah, I think that's it. So so Saints
The Saints.
is the Cowboys and the Saints were left, and so the Saints haven't hired their coach yet.
Yeah. So maybe they'll get Sean McDermott. Oh my God, they'd be fucking jizzing in their pants if they got Sean McDermott, dude.
To be fair,
To be fair.
with the Saints, and this is another reason why you need to postpone it. The Saints, all the top candidates are gone. The Saints couldn't do any interviews this week because of the snowstorm.
Yeah,
so
they got
couldn't
put
even
at a disadvantage. Yeah.
Start till today. If you push it till after the Super Bowl, that gives teams.
But there could still be a snowstorm.
There could still be a snowstorm, but
they meet everybody in Vegas.
But it will give them. There's less of a chance for it to be a snowstorm in February than it is January in New Orleans.
That's true. Yeah, you would think. I kind of feel bad for New Orleans, man. Honestly, now that we're saying they're the last one left, because maybe the fucking salary cap hell's finally coming back to haunt them.
But here's my thing. Like, so is Saleh must not even be interested in going to the Saints.
Or they already told him no. And dude, to me, I think the 49ers is his best spot anyhow. Get him back there, let him rock that defense for another year or two, and dude, the teams will start calling again. I think he got fucked by the Jets, and the only way back up is to take a step down. It's not like he went to a team. It's not like he went to a team and did what Vrabel did, right? And won 11 games a couple years in a row, where you could argue, hey, this guy's a fucking legit leader. I don't think that Saleh could have that year off like that and recover from it.
Wow. It's looking like the Saints are zeroed in on Joe Brady.
I don't want to like destroy it. I just, I don't know. That's one where I would want to see the list of feasible candidates before I'm just not a huge Joe Brady fan, but he does have some appeal, and I see how the NFL today likes to make those hires and do those things. So I'm just, I don't know.
He's a, here's why it kind of makes sense. He got his coaching start under Peyton.
Okay. So he's got New Orleans connections, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
they wanted their New Orleans guy in Aaron Glenn, and they didn't get him.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Belichick, have fun, North Carolina. uh,
Oh, credit Adam Schefter for breaking the Cowboys' hiring of Schottenheimer. He was told by Jerry Jones.
Sweet.
So
I wish I was that cool that they would just text me and be like, "Hey Ryan, we're hiring Schottenheimer. Go ahead and announce it."
yeah,
And then it'd be like, I hope you don't mind. Gridiron Grinder's not till Friday at 8 p.m. Uh, and
uh,
we don't actually post it on YouTube until like the next morning when I wake up.
oh no, we would have to
Oh,
have
we'd live stream it?
we'd have to have a breaking news short.
Oh yeah, like just a quick 5 minute that
Yeah,
night. Okay. No, we could do that, James. We could do that. I mean, we'd probably get more views. We'd probably get more
probably.
views. My kids tell me, they're like, Dad, 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops. And if you could get some fucking highlights, that'd be great too. Except they don't use the F bomb like that. So I added the F bomb because you know me, I like F bombs. So
Yeah, and we don't want to fucking get NFL permission and pay them royalties to use highlights.
yeah. Although I did hear that if you keep the clips under 10 seconds, YouTube is not going to come after you. You do have to worry about the NFL coming after you, but if it's under 10 seconds, it's hard for them to track and find unless you have like a million views. So maybe we should start doing it, James. I don't know. Although I
It's
just said it, and so now their AI is probably already hunting us. And so our views are going to go from 6 to 4, but it can't go lower than 4 because I'm two of them, you're one of them, and I think your wife's the other one. And so we're probably pretty safe there.
Yeah, all right. So to run down, you have Vrabel to the Patriots, Ben Johnson to the Bears, Aaron Glenn to the Jets, Liam Cohen to the Jaguars, Pete Carroll to the Raiders, and Brian Schottenheimer to the Cowboys. And the 49ers also did officially announce Saleh as their defensive coordinator.
Reintroduced defensive coordinator. Good for them,
Yeah,
man. Good for them.
good for them.
I think that's amazing for them, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think Cohen, he's got an uphill battle in Jacksonville. I think Ben Johnson's walking into a great situation in Chicago. I think Vrabel, the good thing he's got going for him is that he has the quarterback in Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
Schottenheimer in Dallas, I think he's set up to fail. Um, man, Pete Carroll with the Raiders, to me, that's anybody's guess because I love Pete Carroll. He's great with the defense, and you know they got pieces there on defense. It's just going to be a matter of can they find the fucking quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of it, I'm all good with, man. And I hope the best for Aaron Glenn. It's the same thing for him. I think, Aaron Glenn obviously doesn't have the head coaching record as Pete Carroll because he hasn't been there. But I think Aaron Glenn is a great leader. He's a no bullshit guy, and he's going into a team that has a ton of talent on both sides of the ball. It's just missing the quarterback. And I like Aaron Glenn. I like him even more than Ben Johnson because he went to the AFC, not the fucking NFC North to compete with us. And so I hope that Aaron Glenn gets the quarterback and has success there. Ben Johnson, I hope he, chokes the chicken and takes it in the, what I'm going at here. So, yeah.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're going at there, and motherfucking two-faced piece of shit.
Yeah, dude, I thought I heard, I guess that's the rumor mill, is you never know. But, rumor mill was like 2 weeks ago that he was like, oh, I would never go to Chicago. I would never go to an NFC North team. And now here we are. So, and whatever. I think that for him, trying to be non-biased, that was a very smart decision. If he believes in Caleb Williams, that's a great situation because they have a ton of talent on defense.
Mm-hmm.
They have a ton of talent on offense. They probably need one or two more offensive linemen to start building the kind of strength that he's been accustomed to in the trenches. But no, I think a lot of rookie head coaches would be envious of that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean,
even though I don't believe in Caleb Williams, but that's my opinion.
I've seen glimpses of what is possibly Caleb Williams' ceiling.
Yeah.
And it's not that high.
Well, I like that. My thing with Caleb Williams is that he could end up being great. I really don't know. I don't think anybody knows, right? But I don't like that before he ever took a fucking NFL snap, he already had side businesses that he was fucking promoting and trying to find investors for. And dude, to me, it's like, hey, bud, your goal needs to be franchise quarterback, Chicago Bears. How do we fucking win a Super Bowl? And then you figure out all that shit afterwards. The fact that he came out guns blazing that I'm like a superstar off the field before I've even been on the field, that fucking rubs me the wrong way. If he would have done it any other way, like fucking Jaden Daniels, I'd be like, damn, I'm bummed out because he's in Chicago, but he sounds like he's a fucking great guy. No, he just sounds like a very selfish motherfucker, in my opinion, James.
Oh, he does sound like a selfish motherfucker, and we're not wishing harm on him, not wishing anything bad to happen to him, but I think he's a piece of shit.
Yes. Very eloquently said, yes. All right, well, my man, that's all I got for the show tonight. You got any closing thoughts, questions, comments, blah, 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 that kind of shit?
No, nothing. I just figured we'd throw in, because I saw the Schottenheimer thing, we'd throw that in so we didn't have to come back to it in 2 weeks, and we'll wait probably the middle of next week to figure out what the Saints are doing, but it's looking like Joe Brady, so it kind of depends on what happens with the Bills.
Cool. Yeah, and we can do our breaking news when it happens, and we can pump out that 5-minute clip just to see how people like it. So, but yeah, that's it for tonight. We hope the, 1, 2, 3 people that are going to watch other than us enjoy the show. And really, I mean, we don't watch it because we did it, right? We don't need to watch it. But like always, man, it was fun. I hope you have a good night there, James.
All right, sounds good. Have a good one.
See ya.
Gridiron Grinder. Hut hut hike.